Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second week of online learning. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. We got some sunshine on Sunday, which has just been so nice. As we're moving into the second week, we are going to just continue to build on the foundations of this new model, kind of thinking about how everything's going to work. I've been looking at your guys' weekly work from last week. It seems like people overall, those that have participated have followed instructions really well, have been asking loads of really great questions. I've been trying to get back to you as fast as I can. So what we're going to be working on this week is working on some of the skills that we've done already. So just kind of practicing, not learning anything new, no new skills, but practicing these skills that are really important that I think need reinforcing as we move through. That's going to be more or less the thing that I focus on for the last part of this year. I don't want to expect you guys to learn any drastically brand new skills. I really want to practice and reinforce the skills that we've already worked on this year. I don't think it would be fair to throw a whole new thing at you in this model and expect everybody to learn it in the same way. Again, this online learning is different and new for all of us. I know last week was difficult for lots of people. It was difficult for lots of teachers. I mean, trust me, this is not the choice of any of the teachers. We would all prefer to be teaching at school, but in order to protect ourselves, protect our community, this is what we need to do. So just know that your frustrations are shared. You're not alone in those. I feel them too. I feel very shackled by the limitations of online learning, especially when it comes to trying to get a hold and talk to you guys. Like, you can choose to screen me. Like, you can choose to not respond to me and not talk to me, which I am finding very frustrating. Not because like I care about like the work. It's like, why aren't you doing the work? It's less that. It's more of like, I just want to talk to you and make sure you're okay, and to see if there's anything that I can help with. And I just feel very limited in this model with doing that. It's nice when I get to just touch base with all of you every single day, and I just can't do that right now. So hopefully you were able to attend your other classes all right. I know there were a lot of issues with Google Meets, and teachers were having issues with Google Meets, and students were having issues with Google Meets. What I will say that I'm unbelievably impressed with is that from all the teachers that I talked to, nobody said that inappropriate behavior was an issue at all. And I don't know if that's because we scared you out of it with the like 1, 2, 3 offense rule. I like to think that it's just because you're mature and you realize that acting up in this kind of online platform is just, it's not worth it because the consequences are super steep. So I'm really proud of you guys for being respectful. And I know it's uncomfortable. Sorry, this is really long intro, but I know that it's uncomfortable being in those Google Meets. I've really appreciated the people that have showed up and have talked to me. I've had a lot of people just wanting to chat, which is my favorite type of Google Meet to do. So if you if we can't make the time that I'm doing the Google Meet, I'm going to do at least one per week. I will shoot to do one for each school day. So on Mondays for my second and third period, that would be Mondays and Wednesdays, and my 6th and 7th, that would be Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I am going to shoot to try to do them each day. But like I talked about in I think it was my first video, my schedule is crazy. But even if I can just be available for like 10 minutes. So I've already thought about like my 7th period class for you guys. It may just be like, I sit down, I have a Google Meet open while I'm feeding my daughter lunch, because that's why Google Meets is so hard for you for 7th grade, because that's the hour, it's like one of my busiest hours of the day with trying to get all the stuff done with my daughter. So it might just be like, come and have lunch with my daughter time. So I was talking with Mr. Fisher, and it seems like kind of that's what we're going to do. So it won't be long, but I'm going to try to do it at least once per week, hopefully on each class day. So you will have 2 opportunities to come and touch base with me, hang out with me, ask questions, review stuff that you don't understand. And then always you can email me, text me on Remind, text me on that phone number that's up on my blog. And if you need to meet outside of those hours, outside of the class time hours, just let me know and we can set something. All right, without further ado, it was a really long intro. I'm sorry, it's a Monday. So let's go ahead and get into our lesson for the day. So, share screen. All right. So to keep with the theme of keeping everything normal, again, I have my same slideshow that I'm always going to have. This very first slide, this is your warm-up for the day. So you can pause the video now, complete the warm-up. But the warm-up is this is for the Monday, Tuesday box. So please respond to this question. How is freedom an important part of change? How is the concept of freedom important? So what we're going to be working on today is we are going to learn about this civil rights activist named Daisy Bates, who was important during the civil rights movement in the United States. And then we're going to read one of her speeches. So that speech is going to get posted up on Google Classroom, and then the activity practice is going to be responding to that article. So let's keep moving through. Oops. Yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. Had a nice weekend. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing okay. I got my garden planted this weekend, so I'm really excited about that. I also successfully, I guess time will tell, I transplanted a rosemary bush, which may not sound like a big deal. It certainly isn't a big deal if you have no idea what a rosemary bush looks like, but they're really big. I've had this rosemary bush for 3 years, and it was just not working where I had it because it was taking up an entire garden bed. So I like dug it out of the ground and moved it somewhere else, and it seems to be taking okay. I'm really proud of myself. I thought that for sure I was going to kill the thing, and it seems to be fine. So yeah, kudos to me. Managed to dig up a rosemary bush and transplant it at other places in my garden. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll give you rosemary updates. No, I'm not going to do that. That would be super boring. But let's through. So the completed double entry diary for chains is due this Friday. You can turn it in any time before that. That means you should be done with the book by then. I've had some people ask, like, I'm only on page 85. Well, you better get to reading. You've had loads and loads of time to read this book, you guys. This is an extra 3 weeks attached to what we were going to read. So we were going to be done with this book by the end of the quarter. By the time this is done, it's going to be like 3 weeks. So please make sure that it's done. The audiobook is posted up on Google Classroom. The ebook is posted up on Google Classroom. I do not have any more physical copies of the book. So the ebook and the audiobook, if you don't have a physical copy of the book, are your 2 best resources. If you have any questions about that, make sure you email me, text me, send me a private comment on the assignment, anything like that. All right. So let's talk quickly about Daisy Bates before you go in and read the article, which is our big activity for the day. So Daisy Bates was an American civil rights activist. Her biggest kind of claim to fame was that she published a newspaper that was for Black Americans. So she was a journalist, and the purpose of the paper was really to further the work that was being done by activists for the civil rights movement. So she and her husband operated this newspaper, and that kind of was their sole purpose, was to kind of generate buzz and spread information to other activists to help this movement along. So she was really, excuse me, she was a huge part of the integration of schools in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we talked about this, I think it was last year. Just to kind of a very, very quick refresher, back in the 1950s. The major Supreme Court case, Brown versus the Board of Education, which was in 1951. 51 or 53? I think it was 51. Could be 53. 51. Stated that separate but equal was unconstitutional. So that means that separate facilities, so sending kids to school based on their race, was not equitable. So you can't do that anymore. So essentially the Supreme Court said, yeah, when you're splitting people out like this, you're not giving them equal access to education. So you can't do that anymore. So then they had to integrate the schools together. So they had to have the white schools and the schools of color integrate together. And it did not go over very well. As you can imagine, in very racist parts of the South, it was a very big deal. Tons and tons of protesting. There are the Little Rock Five, which are a really famous group of Black students who went to this all-white school, and they were faced with tons and tons of jeering. People were lining up and screaming at them and throwing things at them, and they held their heads high and walked into school. And it was kind of a real landmark in the civil rights movement, because it was people of color demanding equality, which is what the whole civil rights movement was about. So Daisy Bates was really an important part of that. So what we're doing with Daisy Bates is we are going to be reading a speech that she made called "What Price Freedom?" So the speech is a couple of pages long, and this is what I want you to do with it. First, I want you to read it, obviously. Read through the article posted on Google Classroom. This would be a wonderful chance to connect with some of your friends. Do a Google Meet and read it together. This would be the type of activity I would love for you to do with partners if we were actually at school. Do it with a partner when you're not at school. Find somebody, hook up on a Google Meet, and read it together and answer it together. I would absolutely love for you to do that. That would make me so happy. If you do end up doing that, leave me a comment and let me know who you partnered up with, so that I can come and check in with you to see how it went. So this is after you've read the article, I want you to respond to this question. The question that is, when I say this, I'm pointing, this question right here, question that's highlighted. It's going to go in the activity practice section of the Monday, Tuesday part of your weekly work. So here's your question. Why should someone read this text? What makes this text worth reading? And what will again, you're getting my slides with errors and all. What will someone gain or do after reading this speech? So really it's centering on the importance of this speech. And I think that many people haven't heard of Daisy Bates before. So the main thing is I want you to support your reason with specific details from the text. So again, we are working on using the text to support our answers. That is a massive skill that you guys, I really want you to have a confident hold on as you're moving into high school. So you should answer all three of those questions. Why should someone should read this text? What makes this text worth reading? And what will someone gain or do? Or what could someone gain or do after reading the speech? And then you should be supporting your answers with specific things from the speech. Okay, so that is the practice that I want you to do. So first read the article, then answer those questions. Again, I strongly encourage you to hook up with somebody and do this with a partner. I would love that. Two minds are always better than one, and that would be a great way to do some collaboration with each other. So screenshot this, pause this, and so that you can have that question up as you're reading. You should always know what it is that you're reading for before you do the reading. So this is what you were reading for. You can, if you have a printer at home, you can print the article out if that helps you, and underline things and highlight things, because you do need to have specific details from the text. All right, that's all we're doing today. I know this might be a longer video because I had a giant intro, but let's move to our exit ticket. So yeah, exit ticket, thinking about the fusion of today's activity and Chains. So what do you think Daisy Bates would say to Isabel from Chains? So kind of thinking, tying in our warm-up as well, this idea of freedom throughout Chains and what Daisy Bates is talking about with freedom. So how are we going to merge those together? So your exit ticket today, what do you think Daisy Bates would say to Isabel from Chains? And then underneath that, please write down any questions that you have. If it's a question that I think everybody should know, I probably will mention it in a video. If it's an individual question, I will get back to you on it in some capacity, email, texting, phone, whatever. Please, please, please make sure you are checking your PH Billy's email. Teachers are sending you stuff, so please make sure you are checking that email. All right, hope you're doing well. I miss you, and we'll be back at it again with another thing to do on Wednesday and Thursday this week. So if you have anything that you need, any questions, just let me know. Let me get out of that. Okay. All right, guys. Be well. Bye.